Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of the Silver Scraps for
Hello,
the
everyone,
Aegis
and
Squire League. With me are some new faces. I'm Leper Koopa, host of this show, and I've got the lovely Downfall, and I have Arcs Knight with us. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
You want to go first, Arx?
Sexy first.
Okay. So I'm Downfall. I am the former top laner turned ADC of Coachless Tyranny. Um, I don't know. I've been playing competitive for probably about 3 years at this, 2, 3 years at this point, two maybe. And yeah, just thought it would be cool to kind of do a little bit more analytical work and kind of be able to talk to all of you.
And I'm Arcs Knight. I am the coach for GSG Psi ADC. I really can't play any other role because I am actually a bronze player. But I am happy to be here and shit talk everyone, while also being shit talked back in the IBS chat because that's what
Don't
they
don't don't lie about you being bronze. You just hit fucking plat.
I elo get myself. Hold on.
Oh man,
When you
that's
flat,
harsh.
call
That's
that kind of
harsh.
silver.
These two people don't even add up to a budget text. Well, hopefully over the course
What?
of this season, we prove you wrong. This is your teammate, man. Come on.
Nah, Ned just is gonna flame me all the
Ned's
time.
gonna flame regardless.
So Ned flames me for literally doing my job.
Ned's able to see this. Wait, Ned's actually able to see us?
Yes. I mean, he wasn't able to show up for Worlds, but he sure can show up for this.
Right? I mean, he showed up in chat for Worlds. And he's just like, you guys got this. And it's like, can you see your screen? He's like, yes, I can see my screen. It's like, okay, so you're going to play? And he's like, no, you guys got this. See ya.
Notice legit a moose in the flaming room with the coffee cup.
This is fine.
I am Leper Koopa. Some of you may know me, some of you don't. I am the IBS historian. I've been involved in IBS since it was just ZGG 3 years ago, and I remember so much shit that nobody else remembers. And that's why we do this show, so I can sound like an asshole and act like I know what I'm talking about because I put it on a Twitch stream.
I mean, it's on the internet. It must be true, right?
I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So today, given that it is a brand new split with a lot of brand new faces to us, we're going to talk a bit about what happened this past week. As we go on, we'll become more familiar with stuff. That's the way it is. It's a week one. There is basically no information whatsoever. We don't know how people are or who what can be. I've seen more than once a team that won the first week and looked super dominant did not win a single game ever again. So shit happens. What did we have here? So I think let's start out with the most recent series, right? Which was a reschedule for CT Tyranny and what is it? PG something. Perpetua Gaming Solace. Yes. This you played in this series. Do you have any thoughts?
I thought it was, I mean, outside of the 2-0, I thought it generally was reasonably close. I was really impressed by PGS's ability to just kind of group up and stop a lot of advantages, a lot of pick potential, which was really nice. I know in game one, their mid laner, let me just grab their name.
Banani.
Their mid laner, Banani, he did roam quite a bit as Talon. He roamed into our red jungle level 3 and got a solo kill. And outside of that, I think they just generally looked for team fights a lot. They didn't really let things kind of bleed out. And they were always generally grouped around objectives, which was good. So I was reasonably impressed with their ability to play, especially considering I don't really know a lot of these players. I don't know if they've been around for a while.
The
Um,
Reximus has been around for a while as a support, bouncing from team to team here and there. Hasn't ever really stood out. I wonder if Paris in Canada is the person that I'm thinking about. There was a top laner, like a low gold top laner from a couple years ago, named Paris that ended up running a small league. I can't remember the name of, but I wonder if that's the same person.
I actually don't know anybody outside of Reximus, and I think I've only seen him on like 2 teams, and that's it. Like I don't know
Yeah,
anybody in this
yeah.
game.
Well, and this is part of the problem, right? With week one, where we don't know these people just yet. So unfortunately, there's not a lot to talk about Perpetua Gaming Solus at this time. I mean, Downfall dying twice in a series, that's just unacceptable, though.
Yeah. When did Downfall? Please tell us. When did you play ADC?
Oh no, he's
I
been in ADC this entire time. Because
Yeah,
every time a new person comes along and is trying to scout Downfall, they go, this guy's not a top laner.
yeah.
And then they get shit on and wonder what happened.
if you really want to know, when I first started playing, I played in I don't know if you guys know Titan League, Titan
Yep.
Esports.
Yep.
Yeah.
I played in their Gold League. I think it was the second split that they had as a top laner, and I just kind of got ran over. Um, and then I swapped to ADC for the next split, and we made finals. So that was kind of cool. We made finals on a technicality, but yeah, pretty much have been playing ADC since that point.
I am genuinely excited to watch you play ADC. Especially
I
because you play MF. You know, you've already captured my heart because you play Misfortune. And I know Cody's sitting probably in chat like this fucking MF player.
yeah, it's the only way I can climb. Okay,
If it
it's the
works for
only
you,
thing
it
that's
works.
working.
So we had it looks like there were only 2 3-game series of the day. Everything else seemed to be a little more one-sided 2-0s. So in the cosmic side of things, right? No. This was the cross group match. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. Chronic Wheels versus E7 Aura. This looked like a slugfest.
It really did. Especially was that the second game where
Was that the one where Pac played Poppy?
Yeah.
yeah, and they won with
A gold deficit?
they won with like a 4K gold deficit, 4.5K gold deficit.
Yep.
And it's not like super far
Yeah.
into the game
They
either.
both games were only like within like 4 or 5,000 of each other. So both games were really close
And it
up until the end.
Yeah.
um I know we know some more people. We know Pac for sure from E7. This is one of those series where like it's really really hard to extrapolate data outside of these two teams were really really good matches for each other.
But we can point out that Mothi for E7 kind of popped off.
And it
Like
looks
every game.
like in a similar sense, right? It looks like Total Todd from Chronic Wheels is a jungler that we should be keeping our eyes on.
Oh
It
yeah.
really, really looks like, just looking at the match history, which is all the data we have, unfortunately, that they were somebody that was able to keep their team and get their team going. Nocturne and Jarvan really, yeah. This guy is somebody that I'm going to be looking at going forward.
Looks like they both play like team fight oriented comps that like revolve around that 5v5. And I think watching them play is actually going to be fun for every game because who doesn't love a ramming mid?
Or even just A-ramming dragons, like this, like, in both of these
Wait,
comps.
wait, IBS A rams dragons? Like
Yes, they
they're
do.
fighting without the dragon.
Oh, yes.
Right from level 1, just
Run to the
just run
dragon.
it.
Like a pid.
We're gonna
Dance party.
level 1 Roche as if this was Dota, yeah. Okay. You want to talk about GSG, or would we just want to leave
Oh,
that be?
okay. So biased opinion. They GSG was missing a top laner, and they had a knee sub, but it was a complete team gap. Personally, um, but I think the games I was watching both games, and when I bought reviewed both games, GSG did a very good job in the mid game. Um, Technically, like a lot of teams I see in IBS, like either like I'm seeing like a lot of early game teams, like where they just completely blow people out of the water in the early game, and then kind of just like disappear mid game and then show back up late. Or you see the ones that just can't do anything in the early game and then just completely show up in mid game and come back from like 10k gold down like every game. And
Yep.
it from watching GSG both games, um, I feel like they're going to be one of those teams where their early game's never going to be strong, but I feel like the way they team fight and the way they like come together in the mid game and find the plays they need to find to come back in the game, it makes them. I think it makes them a threat every single week, even if they do lose. Even if they do lose every single game, I think every game will be a banger.
And it's one of those unfortunate things, right?
And
Where when a series is this one sided, and this was looks to be the most one sided series of the day, it's hard to tell anything about their opponent either.
yeah, and I do want to say that I was very impressed. Like this Zoe game two, she at one point she threw like a sideways bubble, like through like an entire wall and hit Star right in the face and killed him. Like it was like she was walking one way through a bubble completely in an opposite direction and just kill Star. And I'm just like, what the heck?
It happens. Zoe's a
But
scary champion if you can play it competently.
oh yeah,
It
and
was
I'm
always scary.
beginning to see how much stronger Renata's becoming as a support. That more people are playing her
Oh, I did
because
want to
like
talk about that. I did want to mention that, right? Which is like there's a stereotype that IBS just plays Nautilus and Leona, and I did not see a huge amount of Nautilus and Leona
that is true.
last
Yeah.
on this last week, which to me is a good sign.
Like we saw some Seraphines, we saw
Namis, we saw different stuff,
We saw a Scion support.
and then we go to Nameless, where it's literally Leona versus Nautilus.
yeah, it was. It literally is.
Well,
No,
and but they did have a Karma Seraphine game, so like,
yeah.
eh, P-
I mean, same
sorry,
thing. Same thing.
supports are branching out.
Good to see that
Seraphine,
people are.
I think Seraphine's going to be a more picked champion after her buff coming up. I will say that her E is getting a nice little buff to where her stun gets increased. And I think with teams that are maybe looking for team comp and like somewhat of an enchanter support, I think Seraphine might be coming in more. But we'll see.
I want to see people picking just enchanter supports a lot more. Enchanters, healers. I feel like they're just in a really good spot right now. You can still play the tanks and still kind of be aggressive, but like Lulu, Seraphine, Sona, like Soraka, they're all in really strong spots right now.
Bro. Not that Seraphine is not like Rise. Rise is actually the most useless mage mid laner I've ever seen.
And then 2 patches from now, Riot will find a way to make Rise the
Yeah.
most
Rise
just like broken bullshit champ.
Rise will
It
get a
it
buff
all
eventually.
it always happens. So
Yep.
Nameless, actually, this might be the most one-sided series of the night.
It was really
It
one-sided.
was
It was really one-sided. So one-sided. Okay, actually, this is actually a really weird thing. These games are really long for how one-sided they are.
yeah. Also, I want to point out that the junglers for Nameless. So Loki, I know from TD Shadow.
Mhm.
Very good guy. He was a very cool guy to play with. He actually started the season like he wasn't that good at jungler, but by the time I have stopped really talking to him, he actually got like he get like became a lot better, and he came in and just goes 9-0.
He carried the shit out of that game.
And then game 2, DT comes back, completely pops
Oh
off,
god.
and basically a perfect EDA in the jungle position.
Yeah, they're both their junglers just kind of carried those games. Like the first game, Loki had some super clutch engages. There was one point I think in the bot lane around like 25 minutes where he just goes in like 1v3, just kills everybody, just
Bro,
walks away while everyone's just like flash or two people were flashing onto on the Vampiric to get the kill. Um
oh yeah, the Soraka mid. I actually have it in my notes that I love off meta picks. Like I love off meta picks. You'll see me pick like Karma Top and stuff like that all the time. I am
mhm.
in love with the Soraka mid. I give Pandora mid laner of the week just because of that one pick. I don't
Especially
I don't care about how well anyone else did. Pandorum gets it just for Soraka.
I mean, especially in the comp that they had, like you have Olaf and Gwen. Soraka is just gonna do wonders in that comp, regardless of the other two pieces that you have. Like Olaf with heals, Gwen with heals, especially considering Gwen also went Spirit Visage. Like you're not killing those people, and they're gonna stay on top of you, and that's just scary.
Yeah, and they're nerfing Grievous. They're also nerfing Soraka too.
Yeah, Soraka
Certainly so.
is Yumi getting a nerf or like I
I
didn't read
know with
that into
Soraka
her adjustment.
they're removing the Grievous removal from her ult.
Um, Pandorum, if you don't play Nico this season, I will drop you on my mid lane list because Nico is very strong too. But it has to be AD lethal tempo Nico with Wits End.
Whatever
Sounds
floats
like a
your
more
boat.
top lane pick.
When I've seen it, it's been very much a top lane pick. I knew a few people that got plat with that. All
Oh
right.
god.
So the last series was the stream series, which was Gamma Gaming against Dream to Feed, or as Arcs put it so eloquently, Down to Feed.
Yeah, that was not intentional. However, I do want to say something. I am
Okay.
very interested in your roster because I've only seen Chubby play support.
Oh yeah, this is
So
this is
I'm very interested to see him play jungle, and he did like when I was trying to find the best player for the series between in your team, I was actually stuck between you and Chubby. I felt like I was going to base off stats because I didn't have a lot of
right.
time to like look back on it because I didn't even get to watch the stream because I was playing.
The stream was
So
very well done.
Hmm.
Ivar and Ridley, I think, stepped up and did a fantastic job when the casters canceled.
yeah, I actually heard about that and I thought like that's pretty cool. Like they stepped in and like there wasn't many complaints.
And I've watched a lot of IBS casts. I've watched a lot of gold casts, right? And like they actually in the time that they had, they did research on the players. They understood some of the targeting and reasoning of why things were banned even in game 1, which I love, right? Like I value my casters knowing about the players in the game more than I value like the most fast-paced cadenced play-by-play, like I value that the people that are casting in Amulet League know and care about the players that are in front of them.
I look, they did more just last second coming in than Fritz ever did in DGG with 3 hours of prep time.
I mean, I'm not going to comment on that. What was I
I'm
going to
not gonna
say?
comment either.
Uh,
I had to
it
bring
was
Fritz in.
it was an interesting series. The part of the reason for DTF, if you're couple of us are role swapping just to try out other roles in competitive, right? Like that's kind of all there is to it. This was literally the first time all 5 of us ever played together.
The
So,
first time.
literally the first time.
You guys played pretty well for the first time you guys have ever played together, I will say that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we
Awesome.
we we don't we're not really practicing or doing anything like that. So there's no expectations. This was something
Also,
that this literally the reason that this team exists is because I'm not gonna be a top laner anymore. I'm gonna be a mid laner. Let me make a team that I'm okay with losing with so that I can run it in mid in a competitive league.
I actually think you guys are going to be the most improved team
So do I.
from the beginning to the end.
Well, given where we're started, where Chubby and I have been playing our roles for like maybe 2 months at most, it's not hard.
Yeah, like y'all did pretty well, like in your first game. And also to the chat making fun of the TSM jersey. The point of me wearing this is because I have bad takes, and so does TSM. So match made in heaven. Thank you very
No, no,
much.
no. Okay, as part of the Silver Scraps crew, I can confirm that Arx has investigated himself and found that he was not guilty of any wrongdoing here by wearing the TSM jersey.
LCS starts in 2 days, and I'm ready to be more disappointed than I was at the beginning.
All right. So last week was some data, right? Like next week we might get some more. Uh, but let's talk about what we think is going to happen in this coming week, which is 2 days from now. So first up on the schedule, we're going to start with the Cosmic Group, Knights of Oblivion versus Chronic Wheels.
So this is one of those games where I would like to. So like Chronic Wheels just played a game, and it was two teams we've never seen before. So I think being able to see this game from Chronic Wheels, we'll get to see, are they falling behind the pack? Or was it just like, just a better team and they're just going to come out and beat Knights of Oblivion kind of thing? Like we'll get a more idea of what kind of team they are with because we'll have a little bit more information on this team. But I think that they can win this. So, we'll see.
No, we absolutely will. I think that it's going to be a big test of wannabe Gwenmain. Oh my goodness, I cannot read. And Black Jones 88, who seem to be really standout performers on Knights of Oblivion, to see how they do against Chronic Wheels.
I'm looking forward to just like a scrappy match in general. Like,
I hope every match is scrappy. Those are the best ones. Going 19-1 in your nameless game one.
boring.
Boring. Like you made the game 36 minutes. Like, come on, guys.
It's like the game should have been over 10 minutes.
The most enjoyable games as a competitor are the close ones. In both winning and losing, right? Like winning through a stomp is less enjoyable than winning off of a really, really clutch moment.
Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But who do you guys think is going to win that game?
I have to, just based off the last week, and partly because like I do know players from the team, I'm going to have to give give this to Knights of Oblivion.
I'm definitely on that boat. But it could go either way. I think Knights of Oblivion. No offense to GSG, they didn't necessarily have the greatest competition to start. So it'll definitely be interesting because Chronic Wheels and E7 Aurora definitely had a banger of a series. So it'll be good to see who comes out on top.
I think Chronic Wheels is going to pull the game out. I'm going personally because I had to VOD review the Knights in Oblivion game. So like I have a slightly bit more information on how Knights of Oblivion plays because I had to go in depth on their games. So and I feel like if Chronic Wheels can limit mistakes in the beginning of the game, I feel like they can win. Because that's something GSG failed to do and they got punished hard for it. So I think that if Chronic Wheels doesn't make the same kind of mistakes GSG did week one, then I feel like Chronic Wheels can win the game.
I mean, all they have to do is.
Speaking of punishing hard, our other game in Cosmic
Oh God.
is Coachless Tyranny against GSG Psy.
Mm-hmm.
And do you even have a roster, Arx?
So I actually do have a roster, and if I have the roster approval coming, if not, that Snugglebutt is playing jungle Friday night on stream.
That
He's oh
that
god. Okay.
okay. I'm almost hoping that having played with Snugglebutt for like a year and a half on and off, I'm kind of hoping that your roster change doesn't get approved so that get to see that.
I really want to see.
I
I
mean,
really want to play against Snuckle in the jungle.
um, I so Netis, I actually can't like draft any of these games this season because I didn't real. So I signed up the gold team and we were waitlisted and pulled in an hour before the draft show, accepted as a team, and that's when I realized that the gold games were played the same day as IBS. So
Nice.
it honestly comes down to whoever listens to my draft plan or not. Last week they didn't. Maybe this week they will. But
Who knows?
who knows? You know?
I mean, they could take a page out of our book and just go with the flow, and whatever happens,
I mean,
happens.
I can't wait for Lemon to draft.
Sometimes that's the way it is. I feel that oftentimes, not all the time, coaches will try to shoehorn players into like a proper like good draft like on paper in the draft
Mhm.
screen that doesn't exactly mesh with what their players are capable of or what their players like to play or how they like to play.
Yeah, no. I have a
Mhm.
whole doc. Like I gave them like 12 slots and I'm like, you can only put champions you are willing to play. If it's not on here, I'm not picking it.
That works.
That definitely works a lot better than being forced onto something you've never played in your
Uh,
life.
Yeah, do you play Riven? That goes really really well here.
yeah.
Uh Riven not a leper kind of champion.
Or uh or for my TD Shadow in RA when Bean got put on Malphite for the first time.
Yeah. Now, I mean, he does play Poppy, he does play tanks, but like, I get exactly what you mean. So for the cross group game, Perpetua Gaming Solus against Event Horizon.
I think that's definitely going to be a banger. I want to see Event Horizon kind of sure up some things. When they were playing against it was Nameless, right? When they were playing against Nameless, I felt that they were just kind of trying to go for too many things. They were trying to get too many things happening on the map too quickly, and they were trying to force a lot of plays. Um, I want to see them kind of sure that up because it didn't necessarily benefit them in the first game or the second game. There was a moment in the second game where they tried to overforce a play on bot side and they ended up losing 2 or 3 people for it. Um, I do definitely want to continue to see Event Horizon's jungler. I really want to see Gold Knight continue to be a little bit more active around the map. He definitely was trying to make things happen, but not like committing to a play that is going to be doomed. Especially diving a tower when you know they're already out and you're just like, okay, I'm just going to go back in and just go for it. I think if they sure up some things, I think it's definitely going to be a really good series to watch.
Makes
Wow.
perfect sense to me. So that brings
Oh,
us to Gamma Gaming and E7 Aura.
ooh, I like this one. Um, so I
I
think
oh, you go ahead. You go ahead. I've
I
talked
I want
enough.
to say I want to say that Ghost Machine was listed as the ADC for Gamma Gaming.
That is correct.
It came in last week. They brought Red Panda in to sub for ADC, I guess, because the mid laner was out, and they
Yeah.
had Ghost play mid lane, and he popped off. He went 28, 9, and 20 in those 3 games. Like he did a very good job, but I want to see him play ADC. Like, because what if he plays bad ADC? Is that going to cause some turmoil in the team? You know?
So knowing Attila, my first team was with Attila. Okay, um, it's not going to be very different. Does that make sense? Right? Like they're
Yeah.
very good at positioning. They're very safe and reliable and consistent in lane, They're very,
Mhm.
very good at farming, right? Like you're not going to see anything different because they played Ari like it was an ADC in terms of that, if that makes sense.
They also played Lucian mid, and
Yeah,
they
and I played
did
Lilia
the
into it, which is
majority.
interesting.
Like I'm actually like I don't know who wins that. Like who wins
Um,
that first lane.
he ended up winning it because of jungle interference, but we talked it out and we agreed that that with the two of us play, right? The
Okay.
Lilia might have the edge in like the way that we were playing it without jungle assistance. Is
Okay.
that a fair answer?
Mhm.
Yeah.
As
Um,
with a lot of like Lucian solo lanes, it comes down to how Lucian uses his dash.
Mhm.
That's basically what it comes down to. But Lilia has enough wave clear and general like positioning with her slight range that it's not as easy for Lucian to poke out and just dominate the lane the way that it would be against like a more melee champion. Yeah, but we got baited super freaking hard there. We thought that the Scion was going to a solo lane.
oh yeah, that was that.
That's
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
why we picked the Lilia. Yeah.
That
Um
was a debated moment.
That was just a
absolutely.
banger draft.
I personally think Gamma Gaming is gonna win this one.
I having played against Gamma Gaming, I really am gonna have to see something special out of someone else in Dark Star for me to not believe that they're gonna top the group.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, and I was just going based off like performances and stuff. Like I feel like Gamma Gaming is the better team right now, but like it's IBS. Everyone can improve by the end of the season,
Mhm.
Not only
and it
that, the teams that tend to win the leagues tend to be the teams that improved the most, which tends
yeah,
to also mean that they're the ones that play the game the most.
yeah.
Mhm.
There is a direct correlation between the number of solo queue games played during the season and playoff placement.
I think. Oh, answering person in chat. I think half the teams last week did not have a full roster. Like I'm pretty sure like there was almost like a sub for every
There was
single
a
game.
lot. There was a lot of subs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other one, and the final game we're going to talk about is Dream Defeat versus Nameless Knights.
I think this game will be very good. And I I know you guys I know Dream Defeat lost last week, but you guys played very well despite losing. And I know Nameless just came off a game where they completely spanked everyone, but I feel like you guys also have the knowledge to know like where to focus your winning lanes or your winning comps and stuff like that. Because I know I know Leper can draft a little bit,
Mhm.
And Puffin is the one that taught me how to draft. So
I'm
but
really looking.
I'm looking
I'm
forward to
really
that one.
looking. I'm really looking forward to Leper versus Pandorum. That's gonna be banger.
Yeah, I want to see the memes coming out of this. Like,
I
there has
mean,
to be at least one like GIF or something that comes out of that where someone is just the mid laner is just making some dumb flash mistake or something like that. Because that's what I'm expecting to pop out of that game.
well, I don't tend to make flash mistakes, as Downfall will say.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I don't think I played mid too differently than I played to top.
No, generally, you don't coin flip. You coin flip once, and if it goes your way, then great, and then
It,
it's just done. And if doesn't go your way, still great. Just it's done.
yep.
You'll have copy pasta.
Oh god, we have Ned copy pastas for next week.
Let's go.
Yes,
Ned always has the copy pastas ready.
copy pastas are the best.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be copy pasting during the game. I can tell you that.
It's gonna be great.
Yes.
This is just gonna be a fun little week. I think next week I'll probably convince y'all to do irrational predictions, as is my tradition and my
Mhm.
desire. I just got to figure out how qualifiers work with the playoff schedule before we do that.
I will make one prediction though, like for every game in IBS, because of the tower buff. Like the fact towers do a lot of damage right now in early game, I guarantee you someone dies to tower at least once a game in every single game. For like if they
That's
like I think
in,
diving will not happen.
oh,
I don't even think that's a stretch.
I don't think that's a stretch at all. Overall, should be a fantastic series. CT Tyranny and Goon Squad Gaming Psy are on stream. I don't know who's going to be casting that, but that's official ASL content. This is not. This is entirely done on my own merit, and I have convinced these two at for we'll call it favors to participate with this on with me. And unless you all have any other thoughts, I think that's going to be it for us for today.
TSM, TSM, TSM.
TSM, 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 TSM.
I think TSM is definitely going to have a better season than they did
Well,
in
we
spring.
can say that we once had TSM FTX play in ZGG. They did not win a single game, so we know this to be factual. And with that, y'all have a wonderful evening and good luck in your games on Friday.